Okay, so this is my research survey that I gave out for people to fill so that I could use information to design something that is beneficial to the community where I reside. Okay, you can see I used Google Forms to distribute my survey and to create my survey, I mean, to see. And then I want to explain to you how I used the Google Forms to do it and while I chose the questions that I created for my research. So the first thing I did was to make sure that they sent the respondents filled in their email so that if I needed to follow up for an interview, I would know I would have a way to reach them. So the next thing you can see with Google Forms, you can create another section with this. Okay, so no, with this you can see add session, and so I added another session, and then you can see that I made it a requirement. Okay, from the settings I made it a requirement that you needed to fill the email. And so okay, let's go to the first session. The first session is I asked, are you 18 years and above? The reason why I may ask this question because I know for in this part of the world, 18 years and above are already earning an income, and they can begin to spend the income that they earn. And so I felt like, okay, these are the kind of people that I want. Whoever that's going to fill my form should be above 18 years. And so that's what I wanted to do. And then you can see that with this Google form, you can choose like multiple session, multiple choice, short answers, paragraph. So I chose multiple choice, and because I wanted my answer to just be limited to yes or no. And then if the answer is yes, they should the participants can continue to the next session. That's what I'm telling Google Forms to do. But if the answer person participants response is no, you should submit the form because they are not the persons that I'm looking for. And you can see required where it's mandatory that they have to fill that answer this question. If not, they cannot move to the next session. And here again, like I showed you before, that's how you add to the next session. And so that's how I created this session. Um, the same with every other session. But let's look at the question. So the next question I asked is, where do you often purchase your groceries? Like I said, in this part of the world, some people purchase from market stores and they will never enter a supermarket. Even if they do have a reason to enter a supermarket, it might just be to buy one item. And you know that the person who just comes to buy one item maybe once in a month or once in 2 months, that's not, the supermarket cannot really call them their customers. Business tries from repeat purchase. So in that case, you can't really call that a repeat purchase. So I wanted to know where the person who is filling my form, where they often purchase their groceries, so that I will know if they are the right user group for me. And so you can see my Google Forms. I If the participant often purchase the grocery from a market store, from a kiosk, I've told Google Form to please let them submit the form because they are not part of my group. But if they purchase from an e-commerce site or a supermarket, they should continue to the next session because these are the people that I want to see. And then we continue to the third session, the next session, and I wanted to know how many items you purchase from a supermarket or e-commerce site. Okay, so the reason why I didn't want to use how many days is because in this country or from this part of the world where I'm from, is someone people stock or yes stock up their houses like once a month. So somebody can come to the supermarket once a month and the person can buy like over 20, 30, 40 items that the family will use for that month. And the next month, they will go again, for salary earners who earn on a monthly basis. So they would, apportion, like they would have a budget for food and household items, and then they would go to the grocery store at that time of the month, buy the things needed for the house and, things like that. So I wanted to know how many items you purchase from a supermarket. And even though such a person, or such a user comes once to a supermarket, but the fact that he can buy like 50 items at a go or 40 items at a go, the supermarket can be proud to say, okay, yes, this is our customer. Then we say, so that's why I asked how many items do you purchase from the supermarket? Is it 1 to 5, or even from any e-commerce site? Is it 1 to 5 times items a month, 6 to 10 items a month, 10 to 20 or above 20? And then you can see that I said, okay, that if it's from 6 to 10, 6 to 20, or 6 to, and over that, the form should allow them to move to the next session because these are the people that I want to see. But if it's 1 to 5 items a month, I'm saying, they should submit form because they are not part of what I want them to do. So these first three questions I have are what I call the screener questions, because they help me to screen out my population to make sure that the people who are going to fill my forms are the user group that I am really, really interested in. And so I'm moving now. So whoever that succeeded in moving through that first question, second question, third question will now begin to answer my survey. And so let's look at the questions that I asked. So you can see here right now, the only thing that I did here is to make sure that every question was required, meaning that they all had to answer the questions. But I didn't what's it called? I didn't have to say, oh, continue to the next page and things like that, or continue or submit, because right now, for whoever has gotten to this stage, these people are the people I want to fill my form. I want to hear what they have to say and things like that. So the first question here I asked was, what's your gender? Like, okay, are you male, are you female, or you prefer not to say, right now, so we have different types of gender that people identify with. So either you want to say, you prefer not to say, or male or female. So that's why I just feel like that. Some people could say okay. Some people could add to their form and say um identify, like add a follow-up open-ended question to that question to say, okay, if your gender is not listed here, please tell us your gender. But right now, because my survey doesn't really have to, is not so much into gender, that's why I just left it like this. So another question I wanted to know is, what kind of delivery method would you prefer while using a local e-commerce site? And I have same day delivery, next day delivery, scheduled delivery. As a researcher, you have to be very careful and not just assume that, okay, what you think will work for you is what will work for everybody. I know that if I ask, someone might say, why would you have to put that question here? Who wouldn't love same day delivery? But the beautiful thing about it is that when I looked at the responses that I got, some people preferred to schedule delivery than same day delivery, maybe because of the kind of schedule that they have or the kind of job that they do and things like that. So um another question I have here is, what are you most concerned about while using a local e-commerce site? So if I'm going to build my own app, I want to know what people really care about, so that I can try to incorporate that into my own app. Remember that we're all competitors, so whatever I can do to make people see me and say, okay, this person knows what she's doing, she knows what's up, that kind of a thing. She is something that I will need to adopt into my own app. And so, what are you most concerned about while using a local e-commerce site? Is it convenience, low delivery fee, review from customers, and so on? And I can see that the I have a checkbox here. So here now it means that you can choose more than one item, unlike here where you had to just choose one. With these boxes, with these radio buttons, you just needed to choose only one. But with the checkboxes, you um you could select more than one option, and so that's why I did that. And then, what do you look out for when deciding on supermarket to purchase from? So if you wanted to go visit a grocery store, and in this part of the world we have a lot of grocery stores, so what is the thing that makes you say, okay, I want to go to this store and I don't want to go to this store? So those are the questions I was asking, because if I also want to know. And so is it pricing? Is pricing the issue? Do you compare prices with these supermarkets and say, okay, I want to go for this I want to go to this supermarket because maybe their prices are quite affordable? Or are you interested in the popularity of the store? Some people might not really care so much about pricing, but oh, this store is famous and they want to be associated with something that is famous or something that is popular, so they go for it. Another thing is size of the store. Some people also want to go to a store that is big because they feel like, oh, because the store is big, it means they know what they are doing and their things might be good and their quality will be top notch compared to maybe a small store. Another thing that I wanted to know is, I do you this when you want to go to the supermarket, or you decide that, okay, this supermarket that I want to go purchase my goods from, do you think about the decisions that influence your movement to this supermarket? Is it based on the wide range of goods that's being sold in the supermarket, or could it be as a result of loyalty programs maybe the reason why you will visit a store and not visit the next store. And so those are the questions that I wanted to know. And then also, because I'm trying to build a new e-commerce app, right? So I wanted to know, like, you don't want to design something and build up something and then people don't patronize or download your app. So because some people are like, I've downloaded too many apps. So I have, if you check some people's phones, they have maybe Amazon, they have Alibaba, they have different kinds, eBay, they have a lot of e-commerce. So why should they download your app? So you somehow have to give them something. And so that's why the question is coming, like, so if I give you referral codes for discount, would it make you to will you make you shop on a new e-commerce app? And so I wanted to know, so that if they say no, I have to look for a way to sort of, okay, how am I going to a recession? How am I going to make people download this new e-commerce app? And so that's that. And then you can see another question I wanted to know is, I also wanted to know their frustrations, like, okay, what are the frustrations that they encountered while using these apps, right? And so I listed some of the things I thought like, okay, could be the problem. And you could see that I also added a follow-up question. These are open-ended questions to say, okay, if what I mentioned is not one of the problems that you have faced or you've encountered while using an e-commerce app, just itemize them there, or just write them down there and send to me. And then you can see the last part where I said, okay, that would you be interested in participating in a follow-up interview with us? Yes or no? And if you see here, is a multiple choice question, and I'm saying whether they say yes or say no, they can submit the form. Google should submit the form, because this is already, I've gotten to the end of my survey. And then what does the responses look like? So you can see the responses. Google form automatically just puts everything in a chart for me. So what I just need to do like this is just to copy, maybe paste on my slides or wherever I'm going to be presenting, and then just begin to interpret what all these results mean to me. And so that's that. Um, so that's that for my user research. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to impact and teach you something you don't know.